Hello everyone and welcome to our educational session. My name is Paul Arsov and I'm the founder of the Decentralized Web project. The topic of our educational session today is expressing curiosity and seeking novelty by humans and what we can apply from this learning to machines. Curiosity seems to be a ubiquitous human drive. No member of our species is so cognitively bereft as to completely lack this characteristic trait. The desire to explore the world and plumb its unknown depths is arguably the foundation for human creative ingenuity. So it is tempting to assume that the human mind has a built-in urge to explore, a need to learn about the world for the learning's sake. What drives this impulse and how it manifests day by day is not entirely clear. By far the most popular current theory across both cognitive science and artificial intelligence research is rooted in rational choice theory. It is also the most intuitive, appealing, and goes as follows. First, understanding the objective world is useful for making accurate predictions. Second, predictability is sought out because it helps us plan future actions. Third, where your predictions fail with unforeseen experiences, defy our expectations. Curiosity takes over in order to fill the gaps in our knowledge. And the last fourth, the result is an ever-growing knowledge base of empirical beliefs that serves increasingly complicated goals. The above model of curiosity is so widespread that providing supporting quotes is almost superfluous. It is de facto standard theory in research and has been since the time long ago. It forms the basis for like many principles, theories, and it presents a mirror image for scientific discovery. Here it is being injected into our core mental functions as a fundamental intrinsic drive. Improving the model components of a model-based agent so that they conform better with reality is almost always a good idea, regardless of the external performance standard. Thought exploration, the explorer acquires not just information about a specific task or environment in isolation, but information in relation to previous experiences, informing the development of more generally useful behaviors. The novelty of an image reflects how much it differs from what we expect to see based on what we have seen in the past. Curiosity is the desire to create or discover more non-random, non-arbitrary regular data that is novel and surprising, in the sense that it allows for compression progress because its regularity was not yet known. Um, Indeed, you would be hard-pressed to find any research that holds an alternative view compared with above expressed. Experiments that investigate our tendency to engage with novelty always assume, of course, that the authors know what counts as novelty, like, for example, a novel toy, a novel piece of art, and etc. In practical implementations, such as in novelty-driven reinforcement learning, there is always an algorithm that calculates the novelty factor of actions or experiential states and uses it to determine what the agent should explore next. But curiosity has a structure. The standard approach, though superficially appealing, is also highly improbable and runs into major obstacles as a result. Firstly, by its own assumption, pure novelty, complete unpredictability should be the most compelling and interesting of all stimuli. And yet experience shows that this is not to be the case. A textbook of advanced calculus, despite being unknown and novel to most people, is decidedly uninteresting to those who don't understand basic math, and even to those who actually do. It is too obscure and contains little to draw one's attention. Yet if considered on the basis of sheer novelty, toddlers should be more curious about calculus books than books on construction vehicles, since they already know more about the later. The world is so diverse and unpredictable that pure novelty by itself is insufficient to draw our attention. Algorithms that calculate novelty from information density assume that our interest in an event is proportional to the degree of deviation from expectations. Yet often tiny changes, like a slightly different note in a song, stand out like a sore thumb. At other times, we can easily tune out the cacophony of traffic outside of our window. At the extreme end, pure randomness, like noise on TV, like outside of a channel, is as novel as it gets, and yet it fails to capture anyone, a paradox that leads to the noisy TV problem in AI. The crux of the issue is that any true novelty in sensory experiences would be inherently unrecognizable. If it is equivalent to random noise that we cannot decipher and exists so far outside our ability to ask questions about it that it is impossible to notice, like a signage in a foreign country written in a language that we don't speak. Curiosity can only direct itself towards known things. For us to learn anything at all from an experience, We must be able to fit what curiosity delivers into a framework we already understand. It is not a haphazard reaction to novelty. It is a determinate act of asking a question and absorbing an answer. There is something directed, targeted, and specific about situations that trigger curiosity that distinguishes them from everyday random noise. An underlying tension is at work, searching for an answer um, that we want to find out something about the world around us. Consider what happens when you watch a mystery movie. The suspense created by the setup is not simply a desire to know what comes next. That would be true for any movie we haven't seen. It is the desire to know the answer to a specific question. The lack of an answer feels uncomfortable. Unsatisfied curiosity, not knowing the ending, is ultimately frustrating. So curiosity has a negative side too, one which spurs our inquiry until we find what we need and what we're looking for. Um, as discussed, the world will always behave unexpectedly to some degree, so we only pay attention or perk up when it goes against what we feel comfortable with. It is not just novelty, but uncomfortable novelty that undermines what we deem safe or secure, or which hints at possible problems. That drives our attention and curiosity. Um, when we then learn, what we then learn is the resolution to that need. And a murder mystery would not be interesting if we don't have personal emotional reasons to want to know who the perpetrator was. A simple multiplication of two numbers is also a mystery, and it also has an answer, but fails to capture our attention because the desire to know is absent. To captivate our interest, we must recognize something as concern. We think like there's a killer out there roaming free. I wouldn't want that to happen, um, or you wouldn't want to happen this in our lives. So what would I do? This is a directed question, which means our mind has framed the precipitating experiences into a specific request. The resolution can be just whatever comes next in sequence, not just any set of events will satisfy our curiosity, but one that resolves the underlying tension according to what we consider satisfactory. If a commercial break occurs, its content do not count, nor does cliffhanger ending, nor the credits. Curiosity must be able to fit the answer into one of the boxes that we are already familiar with. And in this context are placated by a resolution. The need to know reflects the presence of a situation that is potentially detrimental, but without the accompanying thoughts, plans, intents that would put one at ease. Every act of curiosity has this structure, and the mind, rather than being shaped by the world in its exploration, must determine beforehand what qualifies as a resolution. Although it need not foresee the precise answer, the answer must fit a category that is recognized as such and already known to some extent. Even when curiosity seems purely reactive to unexpected events, like what was that sound, the answer must be something that, in our opinion, explains it. For example, a toaster or a car alarm, but it is not a flower, nor it is cloud floating in the sky. There are many types of curiosity. Curiosity is not monolithic or homogeneous. The diversity of pursuits we develop over time each create their own modes of curiosity. As we mature and understand more about the world, the scope of our curiosity changes as well, because the content of our questions shifts to new domains. We may become curious about engineering, about history, cosmology, religion, each for their own reasons. These topics rarely elicit a toddler's attention, despite being far more unknown to them. By adulthood, we have built up a variety of concepts that trigger their own tensions and resolutions. Curiosity only appears singular or homogeneous from an outsider's perspective, from the standpoint of someone who doesn't realize what specifically is driving us to explore and learn in that case. From the inside, the experience is quite actually targeted. For example, a toddler's widespread curiosity about construction vehicles like diggers, cranes, trucks is not incidental. At the time when they began to engage their own ability to manipulate the world around them, they see in construction vehicles a powerful manifestation of the things they themselves wish to do, like lifting heavy things, shoveling dirt, moving objects from one place to another. Construction vehicles are toddlers' power fantasy, like superheroes will become as they age up. In adults, curiosity most often reaches for explicit, communicable facts, bearing its roots in interpersonal motives. At a time when we would hope to present an image of ourselves as knowledgeable, not knowing some piece of trivia may cause us to look ignorant, leading to anxieties about our social image. And thus, when confronted with a potential factual question to which we do not have an answer, for example, which African country is experiencing a famine in 2024 or 2025, there arise in many people a need to fill in the gaps with an answer they can speak to when the topic comes up. When all eyes are turned on them, anticipating their contribution. It is especially true if it is in our publicly declared and or privately believed area of speciality. Such exploratory actions look like a curiosity to someone who is unaware of our deeper motivations, and that may include ourselves. In other, more predictable, practical situations, such as in engineering, not understanding how to resolve a potential technical challenge may make us appear less competent in our field, especially if it is a challenge our peers have already resolved. So we are driven to study other solutions, which again looks like curiosity. Although boredom, being the antithesis of novelty and interest, may appear to also drive curiosity, closer inspection reveals that they're unrelated. For a start, boredom as a concept is difficult to define. The same experience and behavior, like for example a lack of variation in our environment, combined with an inaction, may often be termed as comfort, ease, or placidity. Imagine lounging on a beach. Boredom rather arises when a constraint is placed upon our actions when we would rather be doing something else. Consider how, when bored, we may browse what's available on TV with nothing much capturing our interest. Though we may not be aware of it, our heart yearns to be doing something else. We may perhaps be confused about what it is we want. Either way, a constraint has been placed on us. There are other behaviors we may externally resemble curiosity, but are not directed towards gaining explicit knowledge, just competence. A child playing with blocks may look like they're trying to understand the laws of physics, but their goal is not to acquire explicit understanding. They desire control, the ability to make objects conform to their will. This is more like gaining proficiency in sport than curiosity per se. More accurately, control and curiosity are on a spectrum, or rather, curiosity is type of control. Curiosity is control as learning something that may prove useful, filling in the uncomfortable gaps in one's knowledge. It reflects cases when not knowing in one sense or another represents a problem for us. Impartial curiosity is a fantasy. Standard theories of curiosity promote a model of impartial curiosity as curiosity driven purely by sensory novelty. This is a fantasy. It reflects an idealized virtual laden image of humans as objective, scientifically curious explorers, unbiased by selfish motives. It is driven by the realization that only impartial curiosity can obtain to impartial truth, to admit that all acts of curiosity have secret personal motivations shaping their discoveries, shatters their fantasy and that self-image. And so the hypothesis is widely discredited, at least among these rationalists for whom this fantasy has an appeal. Nevertheless, it is necessarily ego sacrifice if we are to uncover the true roots of curiosity and resolve its inherent paradoxes. For example, one benefit of framing curiosity as a type of control is that we can more naturally balance its pursuit with the need to be cautious in dangerous situations. Curiosity killed the cat, after all, and our life would be very short indeed if we chased every will or a wisp that caught our eye. If, on the other hand, specific motivations drives acts of curiosity, that is, if we only pursue knowledge we deem to be necessary when it is necessary, curiosity is now like any other attempt to control our situation towards our goals. We only explore as much as we feel need to, driven by a desire which implicitly balances the cost or risk against what may be gained, a calculation which could not be made unless we knew what we were gaining. Thus, curiosity and caution are no longer antitheses. In some cases, it would be uncautious not to be curious. In the end, understand curiosity, undirected curiosity is meaningless. To know that we don't know something, we must know enough about it to recognize what our gaps looks like and what would fill them. Furthermore, of the innumerable things we could be curious about and could waste our time on, that which captivates our attention must be guided in some way as to by underlying personal motive. The true novelty entails a change of values. So where does this leave true novelty? According to the analysis we made, the results of our exploration of the world must necessarily fit our world view. Our interest in motives is not just an urge for something novel, but a search for what we want, an affirmation of our existing perspectives. There can be no true exploration then, nor should there be, since the world is dangerous and we should only take risks when there is known or necessary benefit. The result is rather a blinkered or constrained view of the world, and doesn't seem to leave any open space for real personal growth. Following our curiosity, is more likely to entrench our existing predispositions by reconfiguring what we already knew or wanted to see. This all seems wrong, and it is wrong because there is more to the picture. True novelty, when it arrives, always comes unannounced and unlooked for. It imposes itself on us without our consent or inquiry. Curiosity plays no part in it. It defies our wishes, destroys old paradigms, and reconstitutes our mind. It is experienced in moments of profound despair or even more profound revelation. These moments alter what we value and what we strive for going forward. Mundane curiosity and novelty, on the other hand, far from opening the door to infinite, serve to inform us about the boundaries of our thinking. Though we may not know exactly what we will discover, the answer must still fit a model of what we believe. Everything that we can expect is also infinite. The infinite rather rushes upon us unexpected out of the corner of our eye. In this sense, curiosity and risk-taking are on orthogonal axes, unaffected by each other. We can only calculate risks and trade-offs when we know what we will gain or lose. Yet, who could foresee the benefits of scientific exploration? True novel understanding is not a tangible benefit like cash or property, one that can be weighted and calculated against the risks, but an opening of new doors of perception, a reshaping of the world into an unforeseen standpoint, and recalibration how we measure costs and risks. Mundane curiosity is a guardrail that keeps us moving on a path we have already set for ourselves. True novelty comes from outside and transforms our perspective, and true curiosity is the openness to such change. And with this said, I'm ending this presentation, and I'm coming back to the beginning of this presentation when I told you that my name is Paul Arsov. I'm the founder of the Decentralized Web Project, and we did release several projects and we're working on them. I like to mention them. The first project we work on is a marketplace and collection of NFTs that are based on three-dimensional objects. The name and the URL of this project is 3dnft.decentralizedweb.org. 3D NFTs are typed in a way of the number 3 followed by the letter D followed by 3 other letters NFT, and it is altogether 3D NFT. Then there is dot, then there are two words which are put all together, decentralized and web. Then there is dot and it ends with org. Once again, 3dnft.decentralizedweb.org. On the first and every other page you can see a number of links. One of the links is about. When you click on the about link, you're going to get extensive information about this project, and it mentions that we have built our own 3D software engine. It has multiple additional capabilities. We have a collection of NFTs. These NFTs are animated and moving. They could be purchased in both fiat currency and 4 different crypto coins. But I'm ending talking about this first project. The second project that we work on is about electric vehicles and like products charging electric vehicles and switching high current and high voltage electric power. The name and the URL of this project is power.rstack.com. Power is the ordinary word for power, then there is dot, then there is word which I can spell it. It's Alpha Robert Sam Tom Echo Charlie Hotel. Altogether it sounds like rstack. Then there is dot and it ends with com. Once again, power.rstack.com. In this project you can see the number of articles that we publish, and probably the most interesting article is the article about gas station versus parking lot model, which is the essence of the project, and it talks with the current way of charging electric vehicles, and probably which would become insufficient, and we have to switch to the parking lot model, and we are building a number of products for this specific and upcoming way of charging electric vehicles and switching electric power. The last project that I want to mention is a project about elements of artificial general intelligence, and this project is going to put and combine multiple pieces, put them all together, and build an intelligent device which, unlike the current way of intelligence, which is centralized, depending on data center and using high processing power, it's going to be localized. It's going to be is going to be using less processing power, and it's going to have individual intelligence which continuously learns based on looking and hearing the world around it. And with this said, I'm going to end this presentation in this dark and gloomy beginning of March day. Thank you for listening, thank you for viewing. Have a nice day, have a nice evening, and goodbye.